This is CCS-TV, empowering voices, inspiring futures.
Building your child's financial future starts earlier than you think, and it starts with Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union. With the Kids Credit Union, families can take simple, achievable steps today that lead to big outcomes tomorrow. We believe small, consistent saving habits build confidence, responsibility, and lifelong financial stability. Your child could graduate with up to $10,000 to kickstart their future. We're more than a bank. We're a long-term partner in your child's life. Stop by your local branch today and let's start their journey together.
Welcome back on CCS Sportscast. We took 1 week off, but we're back. Very exciting week. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, then the schedule release even came out. NBA playoffs, what we're talking about this segment. And in the first series, in the conference semifinals, we got Thunder Lakers. Thunder taking it in 4. It's just rough for the Lakers, Luka being out for a second consecutive series. There's always issues with guys like Austin Reeves in the playoffs not playing their greatest. But most importantly, this team that they play against, the starting five of Hartenstein, Holmgren, SGA, Lou Dort, and A.J. Mitchell. Jalen Williams coming off the bench. And then they have very good players like Alex Caruso, Isaiah Joe, and Jared McCain coming off the bench. Alex Caruso recently had a very good game in the conference finals, so we're gonna be talking about that after. But yeah, I mean the Lakers. It's just OKC's the better team, and I think it's very unfortunate. Lakers don't get Luka back, and Luka is their best player by far, so that just was ill-timed. In the next series, San Antonio Spurs, Minnesota Timberwolves. Spurs end up taking it 6, which I do think that the Minnesota Timberwolves did have a very good start. I know they won game 1. I think they either took 2 or 3. They took game 4. But game 1, they held the Spurs to only 102, which was their low in the series. And I mean, Anthony Edwards, obviously a great contributor. And then Julius Randle, their big man, Rudy Gobert, their defensive big man. But I do think, again, Spurs are the better team. Just like OKC was the better team, the Lakers, Spurs are the way better team here. Wemby, De'Aaron Fox, Wemby throughout the series had like 15 rebounds 2 games in a row. His last game, in Game 6, he only had 6, but they still got it done by 30 points. This next series, we have Pistons-Cavs. Pistons lose this one in 7. Cavs take it away. Evan Mobley, which I think is a very key contributor in Game 7. 21 points, 12 rebounds. I mean, obviously, Donovan Mitchell, 26 points. And then Jared Allen, 23. Sam Merrill coming off the bench has 23. Dean Wade, also coming off the bench, 6 boards there. So a lot of people coming off the bench that are playing great for this Cavs team, especially Sam Merrill with 23 points. But they take Game 7, 125-94. I do think Cade in this Game 7 was underwhelming. He only had, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. So I think overall Pistons could have been better, but in that Game 7, they do take 7 games, and I've heard a lot of criticism with Cleveland talking about now we're at the last 4 teams. Cleveland taking 2 teams in a row to Game 7. I mean, the Raptors, very tough team. R.J. Barrett was playing very well for the Raptors. And the Pistons were the 1 seed. They have, at a point, who was an MVP contender or the MVP frontrunner in Cade Cunningham. So I do think that they've had a very hard playoff run so far, and they will take on the Knicks. Knicks take Sixers in 4 games, get the sweep. In Game 4, 144 to 114, and none of these games were necessarily very close. They win by 39 Game 1, 7 Game 2, which is closer, 14 in Game 3, and then 30 in Game 4. So, this next team is a very complete team. I do believe... Oh, never mind. I thought Jalen Brunson was out for Game 4. He was not. But Jalen Brunson, 22 points in Game 4. And then you got Kat and Josh Hart, 70 points apiece. It's just a very complete team, and they have it's not going to lie, it's a very healthy team right now, and they are, I would say, it's like very hard to say this, but out of the Cavs, Knicks, Spurs, and OKC, they're probably the worst team out there for, and I could still see them making a finals run. So this rest of this playoffs is going to be jam-packed with entertainment. So now we have, in the conference finals, Thunder take on the Spurs. That game was on Monday, and then Cavs-Knicks play Tuesday. But I do want to highlight this Thunder and Spurs game because this game, to me, was insane. In the last game, it went into double OT. Which, that enough is insane. Double OT at the end of regulation. Victor Wembanyama, about 30 seconds left on the clock. Well, let's go back a little bit. At about a minute of the clock, they're down 3. The Spurs take a bad three-pointer, bad look. And then Wemby, they get a stop on D. Wemby gets a pass to him. He pulls him from the logo and makes a 3, tied the game. And that's how the end of regulation went. But Spurs do win this game 122 to 115. I really hope that they take this series because, to me, I think the story of the Spurs, having a young Wemby, a young Dylan Harper, a young Stephon Castle, all these young players, and them possibly having a finals run, going to win the finals this year. This is a very scary team. But in specific, Wemby plays 50 minutes in this game, has 41 points. He shoots over 50% from the field, 14 for 25, and has 24 rebounds. He loses MVP to Shea, but I think he's the MVP of the series so far, and it's looking like the Spurs are going to end up taking the series. One of my best friends, Spurs fan, and he's never watched a Spurs game, but he's just loving Wemby. I talked to him about it, and he's going crazy about the game, whatever. Wemby, 41 and 24. Spurs, I think the Spurs are going to take that 1 and 5. And then in this next series, I think it's Knicks and Cavs. I would like to see Cavs take it in 7. Cavs are next to take it in 7, but we'll see. Next week, we should be done with these series, and we'll be talking about the finals predictions. So, we'll see you guys next segment with some NHL talk, I believe. So, yeah.
At Wegmans, we've crafted our new sandwiches with layers and layers of deliciousness. Each one is made fresh with our very best ingredients, like hearty breads made with grains from near our stores, premium cheeses, and freshly carved meats. We've packed big, delicious flavor into every bite for sandwiches that are endlessly good.
Welcome to the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame, located at 15 West 3rd Street in Jamestown. Visitors will see photographs, awards, apparel, and other sports memorabilia. We invite all visitors to stop in the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame and learn about the sports history of Chautauqua County.
Jamestown, New York is where innovation meets sustainable growth, fostering a vibrant community of creative, dedicated people who truly love where they live. It's a place where you can build a fulfilling life with excellent schools, quality healthcare, and a cost of living that supports your ideal lifestyle. Blending small-town charm with easy access to big city amenities, Jamestown is the perfect place to live, work, and raise a family. Jamestown, New York, the pearl of opportunity and balance.
There's always something happening in Lakewood. Kids can climb, swing, and play on our brand new playground, while grown-ups shop, sip coffee at Ryder's Cup, or catch live music at Hartley Park. Hit the courts, sail the lake, and explore our library and local markets. Lakewood brings neighbors and visitors together with fun around every corner. Lakewood, New York. Come play, come stay. Where good times live.
Welcome back on CCS Sportscast, the second segment. In this segment, we're going to be talking to Kresge, who's coming on soon, about NHL playoffs. So, Sabres take it to Game 6 with Montreal. Game 7, excuse me. I think it was a heartbreaker. I've been watching them more and more as the playoffs have come. I watched the Bruins series a little bit, but this series I thought was really good. And I'm not a big hockey fan. They take it to Game 7. And Kresge, what do you think this Game 7, it was very entertaining, this whole series was, but what do you think happened in Game 7 specifically that we struggled?
I think we actually played really well in Game 7. I thought we controlled the second and third period. We had a couple goals come in the first period. I didn't even think we played that bad, just some lucky bounces. We outshot them by maybe 15. I can't remember the exact shot number. Yeah, 39 shots to 25 shots. And there was a controversial goal that we had. I think it was before in the third, maybe 15 minutes in, where we had the ref blow the whistle and we tapped it in right after the ref blew the whistle on an early call. So this is one of those games that could go either way. It was really reminiscent for me, at least, of those Olympic games between Canada and the U.S. Hard fought, not a lot of goals scored, just hustle.
Yeah. And then that first goal that the Canadians had looks like stuck his foot out so it could go in.
Yeah, I was talking to my dad. We thought that was a kick, but didn't get called. Can't complain about that now, but I'm going to complain about the other one because that one was a little sketchy.
Yeah, so throughout the series, they take early lead. They win game 1, then they go down, 3-1? Was it 3-1 or 2-1?
So it's right here. So first game, we win 4-2, and they lost 5-1.
Oh, so it goes 2-2.
Third game, they lost 6-2. We won 3-2. Canadians won 6-3. Then we won 8-3, and then the Canadians won 3-2 in the last game.
Yeah, and for me, I just think that even though, heartbreaker in the playoffs in Game 7, but, the story of the Sabres, they fired their GM mid-season.
Yep.
They turn around, beat the Bruins. Now they have a really good series with Canadians, and honestly, we were talking about this before, but I still think them losing now is not a bad thing because they do have a future, and if we did win, they have the matchup against Carolina.
Yes.
Who's a very good team.
I think the Canadians are going to struggle, and I thought we were really going to struggle about the Canadians. I don't know if we would have got past them anyway, but it's upsetting that we couldn't just say we got past the second round for next year. I also think for next year it's going to be really interesting to see if Lindy Ruff will still be in town after losing the playoffs. I would think because he brought a team that was not doing well and rebuilt them all in one season, I think he at least has another season, but it shows that we have the talent. I don't know if we go out and get a stronger coach or you just stick with the guy who was working for you.
Yeah, and we were talking about last time, I know we were talking about who's the MVP of the Sabres run. We said Zach Benson, but Zach Benson's still been very good. You still think Zach Benson's been the top?
I still think Zach Benson, but I think what's really your easy second is a lot of people say just because he doesn't get home, Tage Thompson wasn't good. He was averaging a point a game in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So was Zach Benson. But Tage wasn't doing his average amount of goal scoring during this run, but he was a great support player. He had, I think, 15 points going into Game 7. I don't know if he got a point in the last game. I don't know. I can't remember. But, let's see. He did not get a point, but he would still average, because there's 7 games in the series, he still averaged more than a point a game in that series. So I think he'd be your second MVP after Benson. Because Benson just broke out. He only scored 13 goals in the regular season, had 5 in the postseason, and a ton of assists.
And for me, too, I think, Benson and Tage Thompson, they've been great, but I do think defenseman, Owen Power, he's racked up a lot of assists. And I do think our defense in the past 2 games, you can tell by the shots on goal. In Game 6, too, they didn't let up as much shots on goal. I mean, there was the issue at the start with Lyon letting up 3 in a row, but after that, the defense played really well, I thought. And I think, and Dahlin's had a couple assists. He had goal this game and last game, so I think they've been very key contributors for the Sabres as well. Is there any... So when's the NHL draft?
I've got no idea, but I can tell you that Toronto has the first pick, and I'm really upset about it.
Do you, so I'm starting to get in hockey. Is it more like the later, the top 10 are really the grail, or is it there's value wherever you are?
Hockey's really interesting. After the first 5 picks, because people get drafted at 18 in hockey, most other sports don't get drafted at 18. After the first 5 guys, none of those guys will start in their first season.
Yeah.
We just drafted Constantine. He played in the playoffs, actually, because we had a lot of injuries. But he maybe played, 15 games in the regular season, and it was only if people were hurt. We really develop rookies. If you're not the first or second pick, a lot of those guys don't play in their first year. I think Helenius was the 9th pick, and he didn't play at all.
Yeah. So for you, looking into free agency and the draft and stuff like that, do you think there's holes? What do you think the Sabres need to fill?
I don't know. I think the Sabres are pretty full. I'm really interested to see what happens with Alex Tuch on free agency. He was already not signing a contract with us because we thought he wanted a lot of money. He's definitely not going to get that money now from any other team after he didn't get a point in 8 straight series games. In the game he went 8-3. He went -1 when we scored 8 goals, or -1 when he scored 8 goals.
Yeah.
So I think his stock really plummeted in the playoffs this year. So I'll be interested to see if he came back. He was one of those original guys who came to Buffalo and wanted to be in Buffalo, but I don't know where his future is now.
Is Tuch really the only major free agent, you would say?
My guy Peyton Krebs is up for contract, who's actually been kind of a breakout player for this year. He's kind of that same archetype as Benson, which isn't what we got him for. So I'm interested to see what his price was, because statistically he's not the best player, but he's a good grinder. So I'm interested to see where he ends up.
Yep. So, do you have anything else to say about the Sabres?
I wish the Canadians luck against the Hurricanes. I think that's going to be a rough matchup for them. In the West, or other side division, you've got Colorado, which I don't see how they lose to anybody on that side.
Who are they with? Golden Knights right now? Is that who they play?
I haven't paid that much attention to the West because I don't pay attention this year just because I know Colorado is going to be there, and if they don't, I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
I just imagine that Colorado is going to make it through.
Do you think Colorado is going to win it all, or you think Carolina?
It's really interesting to figure that out, just because Colorado never played anybody in the well, they did at some point or another, but I feel like their regular season stat was really inflated because they never actually played a whole lot of talent. Carolina was playing in our division, which is everybody was above 90, everybody was working. I think it's going to be, I'll take Colorado in 6, but I think that's going to be a tight matchup just because Carolina has a lot more experience playing against better teams than Colorado does.
Okay, so thank you for coming on, Kresge. I hope we turn around. I'm looking to start watching more hockey. I thought it was a really entertaining stuff, but yeah. Any last notes?
I really hope the Leafs botch their number 1 draft pick. I really hope they draft horribly. That's what I want.
Okay, so we will be with you guys next segment, and we will be talking about the schedule release, Bill's schedule. So, yeah.
All right. That works.
Yep.
So we're at what?
Years ago, it started with ink, paper, and a promise to do things right. Today, that same promise powers something bigger. JRSC Digital, where tradition meets speed and ideas turn into impact. From custom apparel and bold signage to targeted direct mail and promo products that get noticed, we don't just make it, we make it matter. Fast turnaround, local service, trusted for 70 years. JRSC Digital. Consider the possibilities.
Life moves fast, but the moments that matter slow us down. School runs, weekend games, road trips you'll never forget. It's all about getting there safely, comfortably, and together. At Schultz Chevy, we're here to help you find a vehicle that fits your family with space, reliability, and peace of mind you can count on. At Schultz Chevy, built on trust, driven by family.
From our lot to your driveway, we reach at Schultz Chevy, where every deal feels like a win.
To enlist into the National Guard, you first have to contact a recruiter. So either calling up your local office or going online and finding who your nearest recruiter is. So you talk to the recruiter. Once you speak to them and you schedule an appointment, you come in. Don't be afraid to come into our office. Coming in does not make you have to join. It's just answering any questions that you might have and seeing how we can help you get there.
Welcome back to the final segment of CCS Sportscast. This segment, we are going to be talking about the Bills' schedule for the 2026 inaugural season, first season in the new Highmark Stadium. And I thought it's going to be a very entertaining year. It's a very tough schedule, I will say that. The Bills, but that's what I like about the schedule. It seems like at least once, twice a year, Bills botch, against a bad team. And we really, consider bad teams under 400 teams. Last year, the Jets were probably under 400, the Raiders. But other than that, I don't see really anything else, maybe the Dolphins. But week 1, Bills are at Texans. And last year and the year before, we've lost the Texans. And specifically last year we let up, 8 sacks against the Texans. I think it's going to be very different this year. I would hope the Bills to get a win. I think it's too early to predict, but I do know that this is a very good matchup for both teams. The Texans have a very good offense with C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins. Who knows? Tank Dell might even be back for starting next year. And then they have some more weapons on offense. Recently got Dave Montgomery. And throughout the past couple of years, it's going to be a new defensive look. But, Sean McDermott got fired. But when he was under the helm, the run defense struggled. And we did stuff up the secondary. We got a lot more depth. But we did struggle with that. But I do think it's going to be a great matchup for both teams. Week 2 versus the Lions, first game at Highmark. Thursday Night Football, so that's going to be a great game. Week 3 versus Chargers, another home game. 1 p.m. game there. And then Patriots Week 4. At Rams Week 5, that's a Monday night game. At Raiders Week 6, and that game is going to be, I think it's going to be a pretty good game. I think the Raiders are going to be actually, half decent. Because of I mean, you got Mendoza, Kirk Cousins, who will probably start of the year. But I would like to see the Bills take on Mendoza because I do think that would be a good challenge. I think that it would be a good game. Week 7 is their bye, and Week 8, home against the Ravens at a 1 p.m. game. Week 9 at Vikings, that's a Monday Night Football game. Week 10 at Jets, 1 p.m. game. Week 11 versus Dolphins, 1 p.m. Week 12, and this one is, I'd say, my favorite game of the year. Thanksgiving week, we're going to Jamaica, and this is on Thanksgiving, so we're going to be in Jamaica watching the Chiefs Thanksgiving night. But watching Bills-Chiefs, I think it's going to be a great game. Bills usually always play Chiefs once a year in the regular season, and it seems like Bills are always topping them in the regular season, but it's never a blowout. And I would love to see Mahomes be back for this game because, just the thrill. And I feel like it's always a good game versus the Chiefs. So I feel like that's going to be a great game. Week 13 at Patriots, 4:25 game. Week 14 at Packers. It's a Sunday Night Football game. Week 15 at versus Bears. That's a Saturday game. So that's, strange, but they usually do that for the teams playing on Christmas. So Bills will play Christmas at 4:30 at Broncos. So a replay of that divisional round. At Dolphins Week 17 versus Jets Week 18. Ironic enough, that was last year's Week 18 game as well. It's way too early for this, but looking at their, opponents, I do believe that their strength of schedule, the ranking that NFL put out, I do believe it's top 10. Same with the Patriots. So similar for the entire division. I do think the floor is like an 8-9 season. That's the absolute floor. Because who knows? I mean, new head coach in Joe Brady, familiar with the organization, but new head coach, new offense coordinator, Pete Carmichael, new defense coordinator, can't say coordinator today, and Jim Leonard. But I do think they could have a floor of even, hate to say it, but I do think their opponents, I do think there's a possibility of missing the playoffs, and that's how it is every year. But I do think there's also a possibility of the Bills showing up and getting it done and maybe even winning the division, getting a top 2 seed in the AFC. I think the toughest games will be definitely Lions, Patriots both times, Rams, Chiefs, Broncos. Ravens is always a tough game, but I do think that, the Bills' schedule is very, very tough this year. But another thing I'm excited to look for this year is that, last year they had this whole thing with, the Patriots' strength of schedule. Again, NFL puts it out from, the year prior. But their strength of schedule was one of the lowest, and now it's one of the highest. And that was one of the biggest, things that the Patriots were getting criticized on, is that they played no one good. And I do think that they had an easy schedule last year, and I do think that we had an easier schedule last year. But I would love to see how this division turns out this year. I think it's going to be a great year from the Bills. And, so now we're probably good to wrap it all up. We'll see you guys next week with probably results of this week's NBA playoffs. So, we'll see you guys next week.
Something you won't find anywhere else? That's Gift Boutique is downtown Jamestown's destination for ready-to-go gifts, gorgeous home and garden decor, and all those perfect little finds you didn't know you needed. Just steps away from all your favorite spots, make Dots on 3rd Street your next stop downtown. Dots Gift Boutique. You'll find just what you're looking for.
Lake vibes, local flavor. Lakewood has it all. From mornings at the market to afternoons on the courts and evenings by the water, every moment here feels like summer. Add in sailing, playgrounds, and live music in the park, and you've got the perfect mix of play and chill. Lakewood, New York, where good times live.